There's a danger in the Christmas story being brought back at the same time every single year. We become desensitized to it. The nativity story no longer pierces our hearts the same way that it did the first time that the message reached us. What does Christmas mean to you? Think about that. Now, some of you are going to say, oh, well, it's the day that we celebrate the birth of Jesus. Okay, dig deeper. Why do we need to celebrate the birth of Jesus? You know, we celebrate the birth of everybody every single year. It's called having a birthday party. So what makes this birth any different? You've got to go all the way back to the Garden of Eden. The first two people to walk this earth, Adam and Eve, placed into a spotless world without sin, but with the God-given ability to choose sin, and they did just that. God gave them one simple command and they couldn't follow it. And ever since that moment, a plague entered the world worse than anything else we've ever seen, even COVID-19, and it's called sin, and it has wrecked humanity. Since then, every human being ever walked the planet has been infected by it, and it has one symptom, and it is widespread and deadly. It is disobedience to God. God made every effort to try to bring us back to Him, to show us how to turn away from that life of sin and into the life that He created us for. But every single time we rebelled. The more that people turned from God, the more that God moved, using the screams of the prophets to try to reach the people. But we were so lost in our sin and our wickedness that there was only one thing that could reconcile us: a Savior. A Messiah, perfect and holy. A man named Isaiah was given a prophecy about this coming king that echoed for centuries throughout ancient Israel. Therefore, the Lord Himself will give you a sign. The virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and will call him Emmanuel. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on His shoulders, and He will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. But when would this Savior come? When would this Prince of Peace arrive? Well, eventually, after all of those years of disobedience to God, God went silent. For 400 years, there were no prophets. There was no prospering for God's people of Israel. There was only silence. Until one night, that silence was shattered by the cries of a newborn baby. And in the nearby field, shepherds tending to their flock were amazed at the sights of glorious angels who came with one message and one message only. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. The sin that had held humanity captive for so long had finally met its match in the most vulnerable of vessels, a tiny newborn baby, both fully God and fully human. He was born to save us from the punishment that we deserved because of the disobedience that we chose to have. Now, a watered-down version of this story is told every single year during the holiday season, but don't let its repetitiveness lead you to believe that this is anything other than the greatest news of all time. Whether you know it or not, this child that was born 2,000 years ago is exactly what you've been searching for all of your life. His name is Jesus Christ. So let me ask you again, what does Christmas mean to you?